And welcome back to the WCS America and Canada qualifiers. Again, reminding you that the top 2 slots from today will be the ones to get through, so if players will not play, and there was some confusion about this in the last qualifier, they will not play the finals match. That has no bearing on seeding or anything like that whatsoever. They simply have to get to the finals. So if you want to look at it in another way, the bracket is kind of cut in half down the middle, and the semifinals are the real finals. In the bottom central location on the map, though, we've got Root Gaming's Orange Terran player, Root Illusion.
The top position as the blue Protoss, it's Pilipili.
I feel like Pilipili and Alima League are kind of that same measure of like, Alima League, Pilipili.
Yeah. Now, important to note, Illusion incorrectly quoted the Hunger Games, so minus
what
1
did
point
he say?
everywhere.
May the odds be, is it like forever be in your favor or something like that?
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Be ever. Okay, thank you, Katniss, ever queen.
She never says that. Well, she might say it ironically once or twice.
I was hoping to get more upset at me messing up the name, but alright. So Illusion, as I mentioned before we got into the game, at a time was seriously rocking the TVP matchup, qualifying for WCS. No one else had this matchup figured out, but it was still when Widowmines were not that great, and nobody really knew what to do, and it was the time of the reign of, Charge Lot Storm, where we still see Illusion manage to get wins when nobody else could. So I kind of made this reference that, like, if he get back on that bicycle, he'll be fine, and I really think at the core of what TVP is, we saw, who was it, Taiga yesterday, not use a single Viking. The meta doesn't have to play, or the game doesn't have to play to where the current meta is. There are ways around it. There are ways you can abuse certain aspects of it. And I'm really curious to see what Illusion plans to do. I will say, though, on Van Nuys Research Station, we've seen more pulling the boys than anywhere else. And he was one of the Terran players to be very quick to pull that trigger.
Alright. Well, I don't know. I mean, not going Vikingless is not like it was, super special. It was just,
Not as common, though. That's...
Yeah, Drunken Boy just did it like really, really cool.
Yeah,
everywhere.
he did. And it was versus Stardust, no less, too. So it's got that like extra element of like, hell yeah!
Yeah, so Illusion does have 2 styles that he can play as with, either, the standard Viking and then maybe Ghost if you don't pull the boys, or he could go very drop heavy. I think he's definitely capable of both, but I don't know actually what he's at right now, I guess. I know him a little in real life, and I know that in terms of like catching up with the metagame like immediately, it's not that Reaper died. Hey, okay, that's not good.
Well, wasn't worth the probe kill. Nope.
No, it was not. No, it wasn't. So he's going to be a little bit worried, I think, in the rest of this game. But anyways, the Illusion, he's not the type they actually... I guess he watches every now and then, but if he's not playing StarCraft, he's not, like, watching and, like, knowing everything that's going on, well, he'll actually dip out of the scene entirely, which some other pros may not.
Well, it's not so bad, though, because we've also, at the same time, especially lately, been talking a lot about, like, players come back from long breaks and play better than ever.
Yeah, the mechanics somehow just fall into place in their mind, and they do get better. But my point was that like Illusion actually has been practicing. It's not like he's just jumping in here for no reason, which might be what Scarlet's doing, for instance. Illusion's practicing for like 1 or 2 months at least, I believe. So I think he knows what's going on. I just remember like he was tweeting like two months ago or something, at all the BS that now occurs, and I was like, really, it wasn't the same? It wasn't the same as like 6 months ago? It's really different.
Well,
anyways,
this is a little bit different open with the Phoenix. I was expecting with the Stargate place where it was, we'd just see the Oracle jettison across the map. But 2 big words of love need to go out to Fear Dragon, posted a Reddit thread about tonight's qualifiers. Thank you so much, man. As well as Meal Mage, popping up in chat. That's the guy who made sure I got home safe and sound so we'd be able to cast today. Thank you so much for walking me to that SkyTrain station. Now, Phoenix are definitely the road less traveled, I think, when it comes to PvT. Unless you're somebody like Myung-Sik, who does it all the time, no matter what, you don't see a lot of players try and pull this off. And there are some very, very distinct weaknesses to this build, where players like, say, Xenocider, for example, who get up in your face very early with drops, who get the aggressive stance on quick. Okay, you kind of struggle because you don't have a lot of ground units to fight with, and the Phoenix are admittedly weak in the early game. But if you can get through this mid game, if you get to like the 15-minute mark with Phoenix and Colossus, you are almost set sail to just have the time of your life. You'll catch drops of the Phoenix. It's really hard for Terran players to even just go straight up Vikings, because the Phoenix will help guard those Colossus. This strategy is hard to use, but it's really beautiful when executed correctly.
Beautiful, sure.
I'll say beautiful. Yo, I know you didn't cast it, but like, I fell in love with it the day I watched Myung-sik lift up like 18 Marines against Marine King.
I don't think you're a true Terran if you love Phoenix Colossus. It can be... Everything else is basically figured out, I would say. You know, you're going to go to Colossus because Charged Archon isn't really, a thing anymore. And you're going to get some Vikings, you're going to do an SE pool at blah, blah, blah. Or you're going to choose... but Phoenix Colossus, that still confuses a lot of people. You'll see the best Terran just be like, I missed my mark before 15 minutes and now I'm screwed. Like, what do I do against this? Like, I don't know. But for this map, I think Pilipili's decision to go for this is quite good. I mean, besides surprising Illusion a little bit, getting a couple of SCV kills, although Widowmine shots have been pretty great.
That second Widowmine shot should have killed that first Phoenix, but it actually just moved out of range ever so barely by the time the shot went off. Like, that was definitely a lot of luck here for Pilipili.
Yeah. But it also is going to help out versus what could have been a very drop-heavy style. It's Van Eye Research Station after all, and the natural does say drop me please. But by having Phoenixes, your hope is that they'll always be in position to catch that. We also had Illusion go for like faster medevacs as opposed to more of a bio composition. He actually went 2 racks factory starport as opposed to just opening up with 3 racks, which was basically the standard way to go for a long time. Which now isn't really going to play like... Okay, maybe you'll be able to push forward, but I mean... Having really a medevacs isn't going to really
he can't
threaten
Phoenix.
He's got him.
It's like #1 loss of Phoenix is flying over Marines with complacency. Now, as the push comes, there is the truth that, well, you can force field this off, and if you do lift into the medevacs, the risk is the Phoenix pick you off. So I think with a Photon Overcharge, with a couple of these sentries, as long as Pilipili's paying even the smallest amount of attention, he's going to be okay to make sure he doesn't die to this, or even really take any damage. And just going back on your point, by the way, then I will consider myself not a true Terran, because what I am is a true StarCraft fan. I love all things.
Okay, whatever.
Cheesy.
Sure, buddy. Well, he's gonna try and get a pylon or 2 here. It's the best he can really do with his medevacs and force fields in play.
You might actually be able to get the Stargate too.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, probably. The Colossus has only just begun.
This is actually going to hurt quite a bit, because you can't really live on 5 Phoenix for this.
Well,
this style, at least.
If he was planning on going Phoenix Colossus, that's true. But if his plan was to only get 5 Phoenix, then what does he really care? And I mean, as far as I could tell, he stopped producing Phoenix, right?
Yeah, well... It's because you need the gas to go elsewhere, but maybe there's the plans to go back, maybe there wasn't. Either way, we're not going to know now because the Stargate is dead.
Yeah.
And as we get these Colossus coming up, I mean, again, force fields have got to be good.
Oh, God.
Ooh, and losing the Sentry, too. Getting a little bit messy here from Pilipili. I don't know if he's just starting to crack under the pressure, but we're starting to see some of those holes in his defense already.
With the Colossus out and a second one on the way, a minimal amount of buffer for the Colossus. This mass Marine, mostly... All-Marine Army, there we go. The All-Marine Army isn't going to be that threatening to him. Like, they'd really have to get a good concave and be able to stand right on top of the Colossus to do much. It's going to melt. I see more than 1 Marauder in there. There we go.
It's not like that, but the Ram's aiding to this a lot. Just that choke for both sides makes this really hard to pick an engagement, but... So Phoenix over here just patrolling around, make sure it doesn't get caught off guard. Like that move. Would be nice to have them over here to pick off some of the medevacs, obviously, but I think the risk of stopping a drop definitely outweighs that.
You better hide that observer. Oh, never mind.
Oh, and they don't get the last shot on the Widowmine either. Ooh, that double sucks.
Yeah, that was going to be very obvious. I guess Pilipili just thinking about surviving right now and not, little things like keeping your observer alive. Well, now he's in a very tough position where his Phoenixes, they would have been great had Illusion tried to drop. Oh, look at that. He did try to drop.
Speaking of the devil, and the Phoenixes are way out of position. Like, I really don't know what he was planning to do with that. As he comes down the ramp, the Colossus will clean up a good chunk of the Marauders. This fight doesn't go too poorly, but he is going to lose that Twilight Council. Now, this not only stalls out upgrades, it means no Templar Archives coming down anytime soon, no chance of a cheesy DTs. Picks off the pylons, who cancels the warp in. Illusion is getting away with so much with this 1 drop that, let's be honest, should never have gotten to the base. What were those Phoenix doing? He's going to lose him now is what he's going to do.
Yeah, it was just really unlucky timing. He thought he was being contained, and the only thing that can break you out of a contain is either having overwhelming forces, which was going to be difficult, going down a ramp to a concave with the Marauder count that was, increasing. It was going to be scarier and scarier. Or you can just try and harass a little, hope that they pull back. So you went for the latter.
Maybe I'm wrong on this, but to me it kind of felt like he was gunning it towards that third. He wanted to know if Illusion was on a third base. And for that, it's like, why not use a hallucination? Why not send an observer over there? Like, you're 5 Phoenix going. is what let all that damage come in, and that was not a small amount of damage. The Twilight Council going down is hugely expensive. Just the building in and of itself, much less the time it'll take to remake it.
Yeah. Well, I guess with Lucy and Phoenix, you can't pick up the SCV building the third command center, so...
Well, again, that's where I kind of think that was almost as weird as it is to phrase a greedy way to do that. And let's be honest, it's Terran. Chances are they'd be floating the CC over anyways. Your fourth is where you build on location most of the time.
Yeah. Well, we do not have a third CC in general for Illusion. He's got 1-1 upgrades. He did get an armory, so we're looking for that 2-1-1. Maybe upgrade to the Vikings too. But he is delaying his third base, so now it's going to be well behind that of Pilipili's, and he hasn't really done any damage now. Like, the damage he was doing was keeping Pilipili off of a third base, which is great to do against a Protoss, and hopefully get your own economy behind it, but if you're not getting your own economy behind it, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
And if he's going to wait for his 2 upgrades to pull the boys, that's going to be so long. Like, there's got to be a third CC coming down sometime, and then it's going to be so late.
There are a lot of Vikings. If there was no upgrades, I would say this is like 100% pulling the boys, but you're right, that third CC being as delayed as it is also screams the same sort of, like, I guess, clues, so to speak. If he goes for this one big push to end all, it's going to be really difficult to actually use that big push to end all, but I think with the Viking count what it is, and even picking off some free Phoenix like this, the, I want to say carelessness of Pilipili over the last 5 minutes is just kind of unimpressive. I mean, like, it's really over-criticizing this, right? But the Phoenix being out of position on this side of the map, Phoenix being out of position to go look for that third when he let that drop go off, lots of small things going on with this, and if they've got to rush back to the fight, those Colossus will be dead before they're even involved.
The SCVs are being pulled, and maybe if it stalls out for a while, +2 will be done, or maybe Illusion just didn't do his build as clean as he could have. I'm not sure, but definitely looked like he wanted to pull the boys, and there it is. It's going to be before Storm, but there are a couple of Archons in here. Maybe getting some lucky blasts, those Vikings would really help out.
Oh, please let us build one of mine.
Yeah, he wish. He also stopped roosting Colossus and just went for Immortals. It's a risky decision. Sure, the Colossus won't die to Vikings, or the Immortals won't die to Vikings, but will they do as much damage as just a couple of Colossus shots before they die? Like, it's a trade-off, and I'm not sure it's going to work.
Well, it's all in for Illusion, and the Zealots warping in directly on the front lines. With all the SCVs being gone, there's nothing really soak the hits for those Marines. He does remove the Colossus from the equation, though. Even with the hallucinated one there to distract him, he doesn't fall for it. All the real Colossus now gone. Question is, can the Bio and the Vikings finish off what's left? There's not a lot left in this army, but it's still an Archon. It's still an Immortal or two. It's still that Nexus Cannon firing an Illusion. There's no secondary attack going off in the natural base. He has to win it all right here, right now. 3 SCVs back at home is not enough to play this game with.
Oh my god, 3. Oh god, okay, yeah.
If he could get... right? Yeah, he just couldn't grab them when he pulled the boys.
Oh my god. Well, if he could have targeted down those Immortals, yeah, then that would be different. But now the Archons are back up to 3. That's quite a lot, and it does look like Pilipili has held.
The worst part too was like +2 finishing at the very end of that fight as well. Illusion mistimed that in a way that really did not help him. Getting caught off guard from behind with more Zealots warping in. Pilipili is feeling unconfident about the series, but he takes game number 1. Congratulations to him. He overcomes his